All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice Show. Big 12-game slate today. Our last show of the regular season. We still will have probably solo shows for the playoffs, but unfortunately, this is our last show. Nolan, how are you doing today in this morning?
I'd be better if there were some better contests today. Like, I don't even understand it. I think the 20 max is already full and it's 3 hours before. So, typical DK, they just cannot get it together to offer some decent contests at this time of year, which is just mind-boggling. But, we'll see. We'll make the best of a bad situation, I guess, and enjoy these last few nights of regular season action.
Yeah. Hopefully, we keep saying it, but hopefully they gear it up a little bit for the playoffs. I don't know, though. I think we're going to see more of what we're seeing these last couple weeks because I don't think baseball's dying down anytime soon.
No, it's like they just – I don't know what the rationale is, but they just think that everyone wants to play baseball or something. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, hockey is a hardcore following.
Yeah, that's true. I think the smaller contests are filling, so maybe we've got a shot on DK, especially I haven't paid attention to FanDuel at all, but yeah, it's kind of disappointing for a 12-gamer. You've got an 88 max as the most volume you can get down in the mid to low stakes. So
yeah,
a little annoying, but I think we started earlier, by the way, because there is an early MLB lock, and then the deeper dive guys are going to start at 4:30, Adam and Laffy. So 4:30 Eastern, that is. So we wanted to kind of not compete with them and let you guys watch them if you are playing baseball. So we'll go through everything. We'll overlap a little bit, but we wanted to make sure we got some eyes on this before we start making baseball lines. Are you playing baseball tonight, Nolan?
No, I don't play baseball very much.
Okay.
Just like once when I'm jonesing for a little DFS action. Yeah. So it's a hard. I can never get a handle on it. I never seem to get the right combos. Always tried stacks and like listening to the. I don't know. It's just one of these things I feel like you got to really follow to get an edge because there's so many sharps in MLB, right?
Yeah, you really gotta grind it out. But there are good tournaments for the low stakes. So if you want to stay away from the pros, they run multiple mini maxes basically every night, and they've got like a $2 or a $3. They've got everything in the low stakes that you could really ask for, and they run multiple iterations of those when they fill, which is really nice. Something we don't see for hockey that much.
That's awesome.
Osmo has been killing MLB. Yeah. I don't know if you mean just like the Osmo team or Osmo himself, Alex. He's been crushing MLB. Like
really?
It seems like every night what's
his stack style?
Depends on the night, but it's just, and the size of the slate. But yeah, he's killing it. I think MLB's got to be his best sport. I mean, he's just always at the top of the leaderboard in some way. So good at diversifying and manipulating ownership with his lineups. So
right.
I liked your show. Thank you, Captain Jenks. I hope you mean this one. Maybe you're one of these few thumbs up. Feel free to give us a thumbs up. That does help us continue to do this for free. So hopefully we'll be back next season for free, Nolan and I. Just a few short months, actually. It's like 6 months. We'll be broken up, and then we'll be right back together.
Nice.
Come October.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the next sports season. Let's go. NFL in September. But actually this is like I don't watch a ton of regular season hockey. Like if I have time, I'll watch it. But as soon as playoffs come around, like it's just a whole nother ball game. This is like the most it's the most fun sport to watch, I think, for playoffs out of anything. Unlike basketball, where it's going to be like one of 4 teams. The NHL playoffs are just like every single night are amazing. So should be fun to watch. And like I did really well last NHL playoffs. I think it's just like a different style. I don't know. I don't know what the approach is. It's probably pretty similar, but there's a lot more showdown slates, and I think maybe we'll do a show about showdown slates or talk about it a little more once we start to get more of them as the playoffs wind down. But there's some definite strategies and edges I think you can get in showdown slates that a lot of people aren't aware of, including just continuing on with stacks, because a lot of people do not stack in showdown slates.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think there definitely is an edge in showdown. Who knows if that will be realized at some point. I don't think it will be this playoffs. I still don't think people have figured it out. I probably haven't even figured it out, but I've been successful
No,
the few
it's
showdown
good.
slates I have played.
Yeah, and like the Stanley Cup final showdown slates were great last year. Like
Yeah,
I seem to remember, anyways, they were like decent sized and like
they're
whatever,
really
like
good. Yeah,
price. Yeah, so we're still gonna get a few more months here of some solid contests. So
yeah. And I'll be doing shows when baseball is not going on or whatever, when there's bigger playoff slates. So we won't go away entirely. There will be written content as well. Let's talk about the 12 gamer tonight. Anything jumping off the page to you as far as ownership?
I'm just having a really tough time like figuring out this slate. Like there's so many things to process just with playoffs happening, with guys sitting, with the implications. Yeah, so I don't really like, and also we just have a ton of teams that are projected between 3.4 and 3.9 goals. So that to me makes me think that ownership is going to be fairly spread out. I think that there'll be a couple spots that are going to be more popular than others, but generally, like, I wouldn't worry too much about ownership tonight when you're constructing your rosters. If you're like, there's not going to be one line that's going to be crazy chalk, I don't think, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be one line that's crazy chalk. I don't know that anybody gets over like 15% tonight. And it might be Buffalo. I honestly don't know. I haven't really dug around and seen.
I think that's exactly what I thought too. Just Buffalo won, just because you still have the full power play correlation, and they're cheap and in a plus matchup.
Yeah.
So,
but then
I think
you look at like Pittsburgh too with Malkin back. Like St. Louis, I don't know how their second line is going to be. Colorado, Edmonton, San Jose, like there are just a ton of good spots tonight. There's probably like 8 to 10 spots that I would consider playing if I was just playing one lineup. I maxed the $8, so I have 85 or 86 or something, 88 lineups or something like that.
nice.
So I'm just basically just playing all good lines tonight and just letting my defenders kind of fill in. I'm still going to get the guys I want based on how I project them. But yeah, this is shaping.
As long as you get 75% burns, you'll be all right.
I think I'm going to be a little lower than that tonight, but I'll still be
Yeah?
overweight. Yeah.
He's got Edmonton.
Oh, he's going to be fine. Yeah, he's going to have the
No,
shots. The shots.
There's a
are gonna
lot of places to go. I know Homer Cleese was on Barry last game. That
Yeah.
was a really sharp call, I think, and he just seems to be kind of peaking at the right time. So I think there's so many spots to go, right?
For sure. Yeah, there are. So we'll talk about each one of them. We'll try to keep this short for you guys. Basically, it's just play the best lines, I think. So Ottawa and Buffalo, we've got a 2.7 implied total for the Sens, 3.5 for the Sabres. Joey Decord going up against Carter Hutton. Is that a made-up name? Is that a made-up name? This guy, Ottawa goalie? By the way, this is our favorite game on the slate, right? According to Seth. According to Seth, this is our favorite game on the slate. We got to spend 20, 30 minutes on this one.
Well, it's our favorite game to stack up some like bottom six lines, right?
Exactly.
Like I don't want to play any of the top six here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know much about this guy. He was at Arizona State, the hockey hotbed. Arizona, like they have ice rink at Arizona State. I can't even believe that.
Oh yeah.
So that's a party school right there, and he still managed to put up a 236 goals against and a 926 save percentage. I don't know how this translates to the NHL. Like 22 years old, so NHL debut. It's kind of tough to say. He's super cheap. Like I think if you wanted to kind of take a stab at a goalie and you need a really cheap one, I'm not sure it's a terrible play at that price point, but yeah, I don't know, just an unknown, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if he's going to be good or bad or whatever, but I do know Ottawa is on the back-to-back. They won yesterday against another bad team in the Rangers. Yeah. I was heavy.
And Buffalo is implied for 3.6 goals here, so the only question is just how popular they're going to be.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be popular enough for me to get off of them. They're going to be one of my highest exposed, the top line I'm talking about.
Buffalo 1?
Yeah.
Any interest in the Buffalo? Is it Buffalo 3? The Skinner line?
2, I think. It's showing as 2 on the screen. Skinner, Rodriguez, and Oposo.
Yeah. Any interest in that line at all?
Yeah, I think they're fine as a filler for sure. Anyone against Ottawa, I think is okay. But yeah, I'm playing Buffalo tonight. I don't think I'm getting to Ottawa. I wouldn't blame someone if they were, but yeah, I don't have 150 tonight, so I don't think I'll get any shares of them. It's mostly just going to be Buffalo 1 for me here and Rasmus Dahlin.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds good. I was just going to look up Buffalo 3's numbers here. Just give me one sec, because I know they scored last time out.
Middle
but
stat.
like if they've got, what's that? Or sorry, Buffalo 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know like if they've got some gaudy numbers in their small sample size, I might try and put them in. But yeah, Buffalo 1. Buffalo 1's been pretty good together, it looks like, so far. 34 scoring chances, 4 per 60. Or no, sorry, that's Corsi 4. 32 scoring chances, 4 per 60, and 14 high danger chances, 4. So limited sample there. Just 53 minutes though. That's starting to get 53 minutes.
It's getting up there a little bit. So I don't know. I think they're going to be fine.
Together that long.
Yeah, they've played 3 or 4 games together, right? So decent sample. I mean, nothing. You can't say it's going to be the greatest line of all time or anything, but it is a great matchup against Ottawa. Despite what we saw last night, they got out attempted again. Like, they're just not a good defensive team. So give me Eichel, give me Reinhart, and then Olofsson has been willing to shoot, which is what you want to see when he's playing with these 2 guys.
Yeah, so that guy's got a killer shot. I know Rasmus Dahlin, I think, said it's the best shot he's ever seen.
Really?
So, yeah, that was I think it was one of these guys was like, all we're going to do is put him on the power play and let him shoot the puck. He's playing the point, too. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. I think he's on the point with Dahlin.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't actually watched the games. I'm just looking at their power play structure. So, yeah, I'm all in on this line. That was the first line I built tonight, was this one. So full power play correlation. I don't know, super cheap, pretty talented. I think Olofsson's a pretty talented player. You can average a point a game in the AHL. That's going to correlate to some success in the NHL. So sign me up.
Yeah, I like it. All right, we got anything else on this game, or should we move it along?
Correlating, you going to go throw some Hutton in?
Yep, he's a guy I have on my cheat sheets, so he's a guy I'll play a bunch.
I like it.
All right, Tampa.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Tampa and Toronto, we've got a 3.4 implied total for the Lightning, 3.5 for the Leafs. Vasilevsky and Frederik Andersen in net. Both teams with something to play for. Leafs for seeding, I believe, and then Tampa chasing the all-time win record, or trying to tie it, I think. Any changes here? It looks pretty much all intact for me.
Yeah, no, Toronto, on the Toronto side, Kadri's out. And Nylander's centering the third line. Kapanen and so I'm not looking at our screen here. Who's he on the other second line? Marleau on the second line there, yeah. And then Connor Brown up on that third line. Jake Gardner back in. Jake Muzzin out. And I think everything's pretty much the same for Tampa. Dan Girardi might draw in tonight. He was skating with the team, though I'm guessing that's an outside shot. And Hedman is out for the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, Marleau being on that second line, I just realized that now. I guess I hadn't updated Cruncher or whatever, but that hurts. I'd much rather play Nylander there. Obviously, he's played some center this year, so they just stuck him there without Kadri. But I didn't catch that one, so it was a good thing you brought that up. I wanted to like the Leafs. I wanted to like the Matthews line, and now with Marleau there, I know it's cheaper, and they're an okay value still, but I think the line's just so much better without Marleau on it. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's probably going to make me look at this Lightning side a little bit harder. Obviously, you got Tampa too, but I might even be considering playing some Stamkos line here as well.
Yeah,
they're
so
super cheap.
Just one note on that. They did mix that line up a lot last game. Okay. So I'm just going to look at their stats now. I wrote them up in the line changes article today, but I'm pretty sure. Let's just pull this up. So, yeah, Miller, Paquette. So Stamkos played with Killorn and Chiarelli for 7% share last game. Stamkos with Johnson and Joseph. So they basically just screwed around. And then Stamkos was his point and Kucherov for a bit as well. Probably nothing, though. So it just kind of like, yeah, Stamkos, Killorn, Chiarelli, Stamkos, Johnson, Joseph. So I don't really know. That might be enough to get me off Tampa 1 just because I don't know if that's like a thing they're going to do now or what, but just something to be aware of.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's 12 games. There's a bunch of lines in play. So if that's going to happen, if I have the feeling that any line's going to get broken up, they're probably just going to get left behind for me. So it's good that you brought that up as well. Point, Yanni Gord and Kucherov have been fine together from what I've seen in their over 100-minute sample, so nothing's holding me back from really playing them. And then probably going to have very limited exposure to the Leafs. I will play some of that Matthews line. I will play a little bit of the Tavares line, but they're not priority stacks for me. It's just more of a product of price here, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Anything
else you got here?
No. I think I don't know, for whatever reason it's just not coming up. But I think you gotta force some Tampa 2 stacks. I think they're just so good. But yeah. I don't know. I'm just going to side with you on this one. Just other spots I like a little bit more, but
7 total here. I mean,
I know
it's worrisome. 2 really good teams.
But 2 really good teams. Is Vasilevsky going for Tampa?
Vasilevsky is going. He's confirmed.
All right. So that's actually might be an interesting spot to stack him up as well with Tampa. He's gonna see some shots.
For sure.
I think that might be a good way to get contrarian, because he's not going to be heavily owned, and he's cheap. He's only 7,600 on DK. So
you get an awesome goalie that's probably underpriced at 7,600. That's one of the lowest prices you'll ever see for him.
And as great as Toronto is, they have a hard time converting sometimes on all the chances that they do generate.
And Tampa's just really awesome too. So good chance for a win there.
All right, I like that call.
You got anything else there? Any defensemen?
Sergachev?
Yeah, he's all right. He's fine. 4,400. I just think everybody's going to be on him.
Just fine?
Yeah, everyone's going to be on him. So I don't know that we need to talk about it.
We were targeting D against the Leafs.
We are. No, I don't dislike the play at all, but he's not like a great.
He was 18% last 12% last night. He was actually, I think his ownership went down.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. It
wasn't that
kind of stagnated. So I don't know. I haven't given a lot of thought to these mid-price D yet, but you're right. The only reason to get off him is ownership.
Yeah, he's perfectly fine. All right, let's go to Islanders and the Florida Panthers. 2.9 implied total for the Islanders, 2.8 for the Panthers. Thomas Greiss against Samuel Montembeault. Anyways, any differences here?
I think everything is pretty much the same on both sides here. Yeah, looks the same to me. Yandel got his minutes back up a little bit last night, but he's still under 20. So if you're using him as a stack, I might be a little bit careful. Ekblad's been playing a little bit more. That's it. I don't know. Not getting to much in this game. Kind of want to just hear your thoughts on it.
The Barkov line is going to go up against Barzal, Lee, and Eberle. And I think you could probably play both sides of that. But for me, I really, really like the Barzal line. So they've been good so far in their sample. Not really worried about them being able to generate. And then you look at the Barkov line numbers, and they're still allowing 13, 14 high danger chances against per 60. They just play super high event. Pretty confident on the match there. And I just think Islanders 1 is really underpriced.
They've been underpriced. They've been underpriced for a couple of weeks now. They're clearly the underlying stats are, they have them as the second best line in terms of chance generation and high danger chance generation on the slate tonight. I don't know. It just seems like they never come through. Maybe this is the night, but when was the last time you were there's New York Islanders 1 on the winning GPP lineup? Maybe they get 1 goal. That seems to be their norm. Maybe that's just perception. I don't know if that's true, but I've just been overweight on them so often lately, and just to watch them bust and bust and bust. Maybe I should take the same lesson for Burns, but I can't quit him. I think if we're following the stats here, it's a pretty smart play at that price for sure, at probably very little ownership.
Yeah, it's a numbers play. I mean, you don't love lines going up against Barkov, but the Barkov line, their numbers don't lie. They've not been good defensively. And the Barzal line's been really good offensively as far as shot generation, chance generation, and all that. They haven't had a huge breakout performance as a trio just yet, but or at least recently. But you have to catch one of these outlier performances, and I think that this could be an outlier performance for them. It's not going to happen all the time. They're not Detroit 1 yet, but they just I think this could be a spot where they do get on the board with 2 or 3 goals. So
I mean,
really
if you're
like
in on them, then I'm gonna follow suit. I think just because they're you're gonna get them at probably sub 5% ownership tonight too, so that just makes it even more appealing. And then you're not really sacrificing much. You compare them with pretty much any other line you want, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing too. They make my lineups look really good if I can stomach them, and I absolutely can when they've got numbers like that in a matchup. Like I think they're
All
going
right,
to.
I'll consider them in some of my non-Carolina 3 lineups.
Yeah. Uh, any defensemen here or anything you're looking at on the Florida side? I kind of mentioned. I think you can play Florida 1. They're a little overpriced for me though.
Yeah. Devin Tay is kind of a little expensive. I'd probably rather just pay up for
Polak.
somebody else. No Letty if he's not on the power play. What about your boy?
Polak, yeah, I think he's a great play for 4,900.
4,900. That's a great price.
Yeah, his price has gone down. I'm not sure why. Like
consider that compared to there's your pivot off Sergachev, right? Like if you're 4,400 for Sergachev at 20% ownership, 4,900 for Pulak at 3% ownership.
I like Dahlin better than Sergachev, so that might be why I kind of glossed over Sergachev a little bit as well. But
Sergachev, Dahlin's going to be probably as owned as Sergachev.
yeah, those are the two plays in that range. So if you can get someone a couple $100 cheaper or more expensive, like you're going to be
just
they're going to
just pivot off them in your chalkier stacks.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move it on. Let's go to Detroit and Pittsburgh. We just saw this matchup a few days ago. 2.5 implied total for the Red Wings, 3.6 for the Penguins. Could be Jimmy Howard in net, could be Bernier. I'm not exactly sure who they're playing just yet. And then Matt Murray confirmed for the Penguins. So Malkin back. Anything else big?
I think, Malkin's a game time decision, but I think we're all assuming he's going to play tonight. So Rust is down on that second line, and then McCann up on the top line. They in-game shuffled a lot last game, so Crosby was playing with both Simone and Kessel. Actually, it was Kessel, Crosby, Guentzel for a while. So just watch line rushes in this one. Make sure Malkin's going. Letang, also game time decision. If you want a similar situation to what we had a few weeks ago when he got back, or a couple weeks ago, where he's like probably not going to get the ownership that Malkin's going to get. I'd expect him to come in under 2% if he does go. So that's an interesting play for me. I think I'm going to try and go overweight on Letang if he goes, and it won't take much to get there. And then I don't. Other side, it looks like Detroit's pretty much the same. I think so. Nielsen and Vanek are out, and then it's Christopher Ian. Ferk and Kuffner and Christopher N.
I'm not sure. I don't watch too many Detroit games, although more lately now that they have this line.
Is Dominic Turgeon Pierre Turgeon's kid?
Yeah, I don't even know who that is. So
oh my god,
dude, I'm telling you, before 2014, I got nothing.
Yeah, Pierre Turgeon's kid. My god, I'm feeling old.
So I was just looking up. Pittsburgh is technically not in the playoffs right now. They are not clinched, so this game really does matter for them. I think if they win, they would have to lose both games. Columbus or Montreal would have to win out for them to actually miss out on the playoffs. But anyways, this is they're not clinched just yet, if I'm looking at this correctly.
No, I think you're right. And they're playing for home ice advantage. So even if they're not, they're still playing for home ice with the Islanders too, right?
Yep. So they got a lot on the line here. They definitely have to win this game. I think they are going to win this game. Could be kind of high scoring, but I don't love the idea of going up against the Crosby line. I know the Larkin line did it to him in the last game and stuff, and they were really, they're just really awesome. But huge game. Crosby in a hard match against them. They've got Malkin, so even more of a reason or you assume they get Malkin back, even more of a reason to hard match Crosby against Larkin, Bertuzzi, and Mantha. I have a hard time seeing how they get crushed 2 games in a row by this line. It could happen, but I'm actually not that crazy about the Larkin line tonight. I have 4 or 5%.
You're the Larkin whisperer, so
yeah, it feels wrong, right? We've just been riding him forever.
I know. I'm glad I listened to you last game and just went overboard on them.
It's just when they're going up against a shutdown line and the line you want to play is at home. I think that's just a different story for me as well. Yep. So Crosby line at home here, I give a little bit of an edge to them, or a little bit of a bump to them. because they do have that advantage of the last change. So whether it's offensive zone or defensive zone, Crosby good face-off guy too. I don't know. It's just I don't think
this
they're
just
going to
feels like a
again.
smash spot for the Penguins too.
Yeah.
Like they're just gonna, I don't know, maybe narrative street here, but they're, like backs up against the wall. Like they should have clinched the playoffs by now. It's kind of ridiculous that they haven't.
Well, they lost to Detroit. That's why they didn't.
Exactly. Weak opposition. Crosby back at home. Like, I don't know. I think they're going to come out guns blazing in this one. So I kind of like getting to the Pittsburgh side of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Malkin line for me, assuming he goes and it's Malkin, Kessel, Rust, or at least Malkin and Kessel together, I think that's my favorite. But I also like the Bukestad line quite a bit as a filler. Just a line that has good numbers, going to get the awful depth, as we mentioned last game. And at home, you're more likely to use third lines, I think. So, Crosby line, they're awesome. They're great. Path of least resistance here. Malkin line, going to get Athanasiou, and the N line, like, I'll take that all day for those prices. And then I agree with you on Letang. If he goes, I think you should get some exposure to him because he's going to play on a power play. It is a really good power play spot for the Penguins, and he's obviously a huge part of that when he is playing. What's his price, do you know?
I think it's in the sixes, 6,400.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little expensive.
Not cheap.
Yeah, that's like Burns territory. That's a little tough for me to get to, but I still think if you're playing some Pit 1 or Pit 2, you can jam him in a couple.
Yeah, and it's not going to take much to get overweight. So,
all right, ready to move on here? You got anything else?
Do it.
All right.
No, nothing else.
Montreal and Washington, 2.7 implied total for the Canadiens, 3.2 for the Capitals, Carey Price and Braden Holtby in net, or at least those guys are probable. Who knows if they're going for sure. I'm not sure off the top of my head if these two teams have anything to play for. I think Montreal's still fighting for a playoff spot. Caps are clinched. I don't know if they have seeding to play for, but do you notice anything here? Do you like anything?
So just on the Washington side of things, Hagelin's back down on the third line, forming the trio of the super third line trio with Eller and Connolly. Vrana back up on the second line. I think everything's the same for Montreal. So big game for Montreal here. They need the win, I think. And then is Washington playing for anything? Can't remember.
They could lose out on the 2 seed. They could. Okay. So they're 3 points up on the Islanders with both teams 2 games to go. So unlikely that they don't get that, but they definitely need to win one of these last 2 games.
Right. So I don't know what to do with this game. I feel like I'm not getting much of it. We've been targeting Washington all year, but they're going to be like, this is another one of those games where it's like, they're, they have something to play for, and this is playoff time. Like, things are going to start to tighten up a little bit, I think, for some of these teams that are heading into the playoffs. Maybe that's again just narrative, but because I'm sure that Montreal 1 and 2 rate out pretty well here, given our models and our propensity to attack Washington.
Yeah, I thought it would be getting to more of them, honestly. So I'm really not getting to much Montreal. And the Caps have tightened up a little bit defensively. Still not great, but not like what I thought was basically the worst defensive team, or a bottom 3 defensive team behind like Ottawa and the Rangers for a while there in the middle of the season. So they were closer to the middle for sure lately since they got Hagelin and Jensen. I don't know if those 2 guys are the ones making the difference. Maybe they've just been trying harder. Maybe it was the Stanley Cup hangover for a few months there. But yeah, I actually don't have much of anything in this game outside of a couple Montreal 1 shares, and that's just a price thing. I don't even love the matchup if they're going to get Backstrom. I think you could probably go with the Kuznetsov line here. I'm surprised I'm not getting to them, so I'm going to check to make sure I entered everything incorrect, just because I would think I would get something from this game. But what do you see? Anything?
Yeah, I guess Washington 2 is an interesting play because they're going to be like probably 5%, 6% owned. Washington 1 always gets their ownership. The X factor is going to be Carey Price as well, because he was actually really cheap. That's kind of nuts. So Carey Price, I don't know. I quite honestly just don't really have a feel for this game. I also wasn't getting to it too much, so I might just force some in on either side of it. And then, but there are just other places I guess I like a little bit more on this slate. So
Yeah, fair enough. I'm kind of ready to move on. I like Carlson. I think he's probably my favorite play here. So
yeah,
I'll play
Carlson, Montreal giving up the 29th most fantasy points to defensemen this year. Power play one, going to get 25 minutes or 22, 23 at least. So I think that's a good way to get some exposure to this line. There's so many good defensemen over 6K tonight that and he's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's move it on to the next one. We've got the Devils and the Carolina Hurricanes. 2.4 implied total for the Devils. 3.6 for Carolina. Corey Schneider, Peter Mrazek in net. Do you have anything on the Devils side that you like, or can we just cross them off?
Cross them off.
I agree. I think they're basically the easiest cross off for me because, well, first of all, Carolina's a really good possession team.
Palmieri out.
Palmieri's out. It doesn't really. They're going to completely wipe out one line with the Stahl line, and then the Walmart line is also really good, and then we know how good Carolina 1 is too. So I don't see any.
Sorry, go ahead.
I don't see any advantageous matchups here. So
yeah,
like for the Devils. So even like price included. So
that just noticing we have Vatanen in, that's wrong. So if you have him in your lineups, which you probably don't, but I think Vatanen is done for the year pretty much. He hasn't gotten medical clearance to play yet, and he wasn't on the ice this morning. So I'm not sure why these sites have him listed, but yeah, he's out. And then the Carolina side. Did I read somewhere that Ferland is questionable tonight?
I didn't hear that.
I thought I heard someone in chat saying. I didn't actually see anything. So, yeah, if we, I mean, I kind of like all three Carolina lines tonight. Carolina 3 is a super cheap filler. Mm-hmm. Carolina 2 usually goes overlooked and underowned, and Carolina 1 is going to be the nuts line. So, what's your take on these three?
Yeah, I really, really love Carolina 1 and Carolina 3 here. Just huge differences in price, so I don't love them the same way. But yeah, they're like my kids, right?
Maybe this is like a good way to go out on the season, just with these like lines we've been touting for so long. Like Carolina 3's been so good, and they haven't really come through. But
yeah, I'm just looking at my lineups here, and they're all really good lines. Like and I mean lines as in like stacks of 3 guys. I don't mean lineups. Like they're all the ones that have really awesome numbers, and the ones that have really awesome numbers also have really good matchups here. So one of these lines that we like, the Buffalo ones or the Carolina ones, Nashville, we haven't even gotten to them, but like McDavid line, San Jose, like one of them is going to have an outlier performance tonight. I'm pretty confident in that. So I'm just playing all the good lines, and Carolina 1 definitely falls into that category. They might lead that category. So they're going to be a top 3 exposure for me for sure. And then I'm going to be overweight on the third line as well. Second line, you can play them for sure. You can play anyone against the Devils, especially on the road, I think. They're going to be more in the shutdown role. I think that's going to open things up for the first and third lines a little bit more. And then Dougie Hamilton, Falk. Hamilton, I mean, awesome play. He is 5,800 though, so he's not going to come up as like the top of the top values. But Falk's the power play 1 guy still somehow. I don't know why he still is, but that's who is on the power play 1. So I guess he still is in play for 5,100.
Sorry, who was that?
Falk. Yeah, he's awful, but plays in the top power play.
It's nuts. Dougie Hamilton would be like Brent Burns if he actually played on the top unit.
Right? Maybe they'd have a better power play too.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
They were atrocious for a while.
That I was just noticing actually. So the first lineup I filled out this morning was Buffalo 1 and Carolina 1, and those are the 2 AA grades for Osmo for line stacks today. I'm sure they're 2 of your favorite lines. Carolina 1 just super cheap, but I'm guessing that what do you think Carolina's ownership gets to here? Like I'm thinking they're going to be, now that we talk about it, they're going to be pretty popular.
Yeah, I mean if they're 15%, that's a lot for a 12-game slate. It's still not enough for me to want to get off of them. They're so good. I mean, if they're over 20, I'd be surprised first of all, but then you're maybe talking about just allocating or like going underweight and getting overweight on other spots that are lower owned. That makes sense. But
I think as a trio, maybe like 10 to 12%.
Yeah,
Very
I
good
think
guess.
like Williams. I think he's the guy that gets left off a lot. Maybe Williams is, or Niederreiter. One of those guys is going to be, 12% or 10%. I agree. So
Yeah.
I don't think we need to worry about it on a 12-game slate, especially not this one with all these awesome options. Anything else here?
Dougie Hamilton at all?
Yeah, definitely Dougie. Really like him. There's just so many good plays that you can't play all of them without 150 or more lineups.
What about you gonna do any Mrazek? Is it too pricey? Not enough.
Yeah,
shot volume?
I don't understand the A value here. I don't know how many shots the Devils are going to be able to generate. So I was surprised to see the A value on Mrazek.
I think it's probably just coming from the minus 295 favorite.
Just win equity. That makes sense. And I think he probably has a really good median score here. I don't know that his outlier score is like I don't know how he gets 10 points here on DK.
Yeah.
So that's my only
unless he
thing.
gets a shutout.
Yeah, if he gets you 6 or 7, that's great. You take that, of course.
Yeah.
But there's a real possibility he lets up 2 and gets 20 shots on goal, and then you're really putting yourself behind for 8,200.
Again, though, we have a situation where not a lot of the favorites are not playing teams that shoot a lot here. So maybe like almost all of the 6 top favorites are going against teams that shoot in the bottom 10% of the NHL. So a lot of safe plays, not a lot of high upside plays for your best goalies.
Yep, we got another one here. Let's go, JD
Yeah.
Martinez. I'm sure 80% of the field have him. All right. Flyers 2.5 implied total, 3.4 for the Blues. Another mismatch, in my opinion. Brian Elliott and Jordan Binnington expected to go after Allen went last night in their loss to the Blackhawks somehow. Anyways, St. Louis 1 was amazing in that game. I looked last night. They were a little bit worse defensively than we're used to seeing, but offensively, like they generated almost 20 shot attempts. Again, they're just incredible. I don't know. So how much St. Louis 1 are you playing here? How much St. Louis in general, and then any Flyers?
Probably gonna not have too much St. Louis 1 tonight. I don't know. The price is a little bit. Yeah, the price is the same, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't getting to him. Maybe it's just like fatigue of playing so much St. Louis 1. It's like so I haven't actually built using your projections yet, but I'll probably end up just trusting them. On the Flyers side of things, Nolan Patrick, game time decision. Not sure if he's going to go. They mixed up their lines last game. And actually, JVR played with Giroux and Couturier. Now it looks like Konechny is up there. Lawton centering the second line if Patrick can't go. So this is a pretty weakened Flyers side here. If Patrick is out, assuming you basically have Scott Lawton centering your second line. That's not exactly amazing. So, and then the goaltending as well just kind of speaks for itself. So, what's St. Louis's motivation factor here? Are we at that point where they still have something to play for?
I'm gonna look at that right now. They have 95 points. They could. Let's see. Nashville is okay. Yeah, so they're still playing. For sure. Winnipeg and Nashville both play tonight. After tonight, they'll all have 81 games played, so they'll all have one left.
Okay.
So they're definitely still playing. So that point last night was big.
The Central Division title.
Yes. So that point last night, I mean, they needed to tie it up, being a three-way tie. But they need to win these last 2 and then hope that both the Jets and the Preds lose at least one. So
okay, so I'm
playing.
in on St. Louis. I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's
They are. They're going to bring it, and I think this is a big mismatch. I don't think the Flyers are very good. I think the Couturier line is good. I think the O'Reilly line's way better, though. So, like I said, I mean, it's not ideal. You don't want a line going up against a shutdown line. Like, I'm pretty sure we're going to see O'Reilly going up against Couturier. And, that's not great compared to some of these other spots, but it's going to be lower owned. They're still priced up. And when they're at home, I just don't have much of a problem with it. O'Reilly line's so good.
How about St. Louis 2 line then? Would you be a little bit more? Are you a little bit high on them as well?
Yeah, I like them as well. So I'm going to be pretty flat as far as my exposures tonight. So I don't even know if St. Louis 1's going to be like a top 5 owned stack for me. But I still am pretty confident I'm going to be a good amount overweight on them. So I might have 10% of them, but my highest exposed stack might be 17%. And I don't think St. Louis 1 is going to have all that much ownership tonight, despite the big total.
That's another great point. Like, just because they played last night, you're probably not going to see a lot of ownership on them for sure. So, yeah, still the fifth highest line on this slate in terms of high danger chance generation. Just looking at St. Louis's numbers, St. Louis 2, have they declined a little bit of late?
They
haven't.
Let's see where they're at.
Let's just check in on them because they were doing really well there for a while.
They're still good. They're still good.
Yeah.
Defensively, they've been quite a bit worse. So they're at 100 minutes now, 13.9 high danger chances against per 60. Wow, that's actually not very good. So they got off to a really hot start. The scoring chances, they're still 53% scoring chance for percentage. So they're better in that department. Maybe just a little fluky with the high danger stuff. But like generating 58 shots per 60, not perfect or anything, but still just fine.
11 high danger chances. Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, they're not St. Louis 1. So,
yeah.
But you don't have to pay St. Louis 1 prices. And the correlation's not as good, so you're banking on the even strength for them to try to get there. So that's why I just much prefer St. Louis 1. St. Louis 2 is an okay filler. I just have some lines that are close to them that I'd rather get to, like a Islanders 1.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Where are we at? Oh, Pietrangelo. And then Provorov, I think you can also play as kind of a punt guy for 3,800. Yeah. Not necessarily a punt price, but
there are places I'd rather go than Pietrangelo tonight.
Yeah.
At that price point.
That's fair.
5,900, like.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't be my top ranked defenseman tonight.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia's penalty kill has been much, much better. In the month of March, they were actually really good. So there you go. I mean, that's a reason to not play him. I'm still playing him a little bit. I'm not really worried about defenseman chalk tonight. There's going to be two guys, Dahlin and Sergachev, I think, that are going to carry a lot of ownership outside of that, and Burns. Outside of those guys, I don't really think there's an issue with the defenseman ownership. Just pick the guys you like. Pick the guys that make sense in your lineups, really.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Vancouver and Nashville, 2.2 implied total for the Canucks, 3.3 for the Preds. Jacob Markstrom and Pekka Rinne expected to go. Nashville, as we just said with St. Louis, they're in a tight race for the division title. So they're playing. Canucks obviously out of it. Sorry. But they are.
Sorry, Noah.
And do you like anything here?
Yeah, I'm actually interested in Nashville tonight. I think I'm going to have some Nashville 1. I think that people are overlooking them just because they've been so bad or they just haven't really done anything recently. Canucks are playing up the stretch. They're starting some like guy on the second pairing from college with a super weird name whose name escapes me, and I'm going to look at the screen and find it out. What is his name? Brogan Rafferty. Yeah. Jake Virtanen up on the second line playing left wing with Besser and Pettersson. I don't know. I'm just not inspired by this Canucks squad at all. They're going to need a performance from Markstrom, I think, to hang in this one. Nashville's got, 3.4 total or something like that. So I'm kind of 3.3. I'm kind of interested in Nashville 1 here, and also Nashville 2 as a filler stack. You won't need much to get overweight on them. I don't have their numbers handy, but they played a lot last game, and it seems like they might be getting a little bit more of a run down the stretch here. I got their numbers here actually, and they rank pretty well. I think they're the 11th. Oh no, that's scoring chances against. So they got a 32% 5-on-5 share. They led the Predators in ice time last game. You're gonna get them at under 3% owned. And they're super cheap. So that's my other kind of filler stack that I'm looking to tonight.
Yeah, I did actually see that. I was gonna bring them up, so you beat me to it. Turris at 3K. I mean, Turris isn't great, far from what he used to be, but I do think Granlund and Smith are fine line mates, and then they were really good in that Buffalo game. So that's Buffalo. The only issue I have with Nashville 2 here is they're probably going to see more time against the Horvat line as Johansson goes up against Pettersson and Besser. That's kind of the clear top line, even though you're seeing them as a second line. So that's how I assume the matchups are roughly going to go. Nashville doesn't usually mega hard match or anything, unless it's maybe against Boston 1 or something where you want that your best line against them, just because it's such a good line. Here, I don't know that we're going to see that, but I just think the Johansson line, first of all, they're way better. They're underpriced, and they're going to see the better matchup, I think. So
against the Pettersson line. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. National 215, high danger chances 4, 32 scoring chances 4. So pretty good numbers.
How many minutes have they played?
54.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah. That's actually pretty good.
Into a decent sample. Yeah, I like that. I like both calls. I think the only real advantage you're getting on the Nashville 2 side is just like obviously worst play, but you're going to get like 3, probably a third the ownership is Nashville 1, but a little bit of a discount. But yeah, both I think are in play tonight for sure.
Yeah, Nashville 1's going to have some ownership tonight. I think the 3.3 total isn't going to get a ton of people on them though. So yeah. I think they're going to be lower owned than Carolina 1. I think they're going to be lower owned than who's the first one? Buffalo 1. So
yeah,
there you go. They're going to be right up there for me as far as exposure with those 2 lines. So again, just playing the best lines tonight and letting the chips fall where they may.
That's a good way to go. Bargains on D.
Yeah, exactly. Yossi and Edler here, kind of the 2 high-priced guys, and Subban coming on a little bit late.
Subban.
Top power play?
Yes. Yeah, he got the most power play time. His price is starting to go up a little bit, but he has points in 3 straight, 2 goals, 3 and 6 shots per game. So we're starting to see a little bit of the PK Subban of old. His price still reasonable. Like if you're getting that PK Subban of old, then that's probably about $1,000 discount than the price we saw last year for the most of the season. So don't hate that as well. Yeah, I don't know. Yossi just kind of meh on tonight, especially if Subban's getting most of that power play time. Edler kind of meh on too. I don't see the Canucks scoring a lot here, but so it's basically just block shots, and maybe he'll get 10 block shots. What do I know? But yeah, not super high on either of those guys.
Yeah, I don't love them tonight. So I'll probably go elsewhere. That's really all I got for that game.
I like Rene too. I don't know what the Canucks shots are as well, but I'm gonna have some Rene.
I think he's gonna be okay with volume, so I agree.
Yeah.
Boston and Minnesota, we've got a 2.7 implied total for the Bruins, 2.8 for the Wild. Halak and Stalock in net here. 1 big change on Boston. What else?
Yeah. 2 big changes on Boston, I think. Krejci and Marchand are out tonight. For the Bruins, I forget what their lines are, but it's DeBrusk, I think, is on the top line
with Bergeron and
Pasternak, and then Heinen, Frederic, and Kuhlman. Mm-hmm. This Zach Senchen, who was taken in the 2015 draft ahead of Matt Barzell and a lot of other good players, makes his debut. He does not have very good AHL numbers, so I wouldn't get too excited about playing him. On the other side, it looks like Parise's out for the rest of the season. So you got Cunnin and Donato up top on the top line, Fiala, Zucker. Those 2 lines aren't horrible. And then Nico Sturm, no relation to Marco Sturm on the 3rd line. Another collegiate player recently signed. No idea what he's going to be like. But given that he's playing with Rask, that looks like a very, very weak line to me. And then I think everything else is the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting some Minnesota here as like value plays just because they're so cheap, and it helps that there's no Marchand and no Krejci, especially. I think they're
who would go up against Bergeron. You think?
That's what I don't know exactly, because last game, I'm trying to remember who they were playing last game. I believe it was Eriksson Ek against the opposing top line, but I'm gonna check on that really quick. Oh yeah, okay, against Winnipeg. So clear top line there, the Scheifele line. Let's see what good old natural stat trick says. Because that would decide who you really want to play. They're cheap enough where you really need like a goal and maybe something on the power play for them to be worth it. So it's not the end of the world if you play the team or you play the lines going up against Bergeron for these prices. But let's see. Looks like Eriksson Ek went up against the Scheifele line. Yeah, so did he have Parise on his line though? That's the question. No, he didn't. He had Cunnin and Greenway. Interesting. Yeah. So those guys are all split up. Eriksson Ek, Cunnin, and Greenway. So I don't know for sure. Maybe they just roll lines here, actually, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
They usually don't like to get stall against opposing top competition, so I would probably give a slight lean to him.
Yeah.
And just hope you're right with that.
I mean, you're going to get them at no ownership. You probably don't only need 1 or 2 shares to really get over the weight on the field. So I don't think many people are going to be going to Minnesota tonight, especially in low dollar GPPs.
Yeah, I think they're fine as fillers. I'm not actively targeting them. I don't think it's a great matchup. I think you can play the Bergeron line, of course, only saying the most obvious thing in the world. They're just really expensive, and they're on the road. It's not really a game I don't think they need to win.
We can go back to the well narrative with Boston has nothing to play for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
they don't have anything to play for. They're locked in to that.
I mean, I think like at this point in the season, I don't know. Like we saw last time with the Kings and the Flames, didn't work out all that well. But like, you gotta figure these guys aren't giving maximum effort at game 81 with the playoffs just on the horizon, right? Like there's just no way they're going to be.
Well, we've seen it with Calgary. Their minutes have gone down. Like Gaudreau, Monahan when he played, Lindholm.
Yeah, and last night's Anaheim game is what I expected out of the LA game, and maybe might have been if Quick hadn't been so terrible. I don't know, but it's one of those things, one of those X factors.
And it's not like Minnesota has anything to play for here. They're out of the playoffs, so whatever. But I don't know. I mean, these are the last couple of games of the season for them. So if you like the narrative, I think it's pointing an arrow towards Minnesota in this game. It's a home game. Yep. I think it may be their last home game of the season. Yep. It's a fun place to play at when they're good. I don't know.
Like I think a contrarian cheap goalie play. You go to Stalock.
Yeah. Also has an A value. How about that?
Yeah, 7,100. Just because Boston's implied total is like 2.6, and they're still probably going to shoot the puck. So, and no one's going to own him because just the name cachet that Boston brings. So.
Yep. Agreed. I like Stalock. If you're doing a standalone goalie and you need someone cheap, I think he's fine. All right, so let's go to Winnipeg and Colorado. We've got a 2.8 implied total for the Jets, 3.1 for the Avs. Connor Hellebuck, Philip Grubauer in net. This game very much matters for Colorado. They need a win or basically just a point to clinch the playoffs, I believe.
Yeah, Winnipeg, Vots, I think, tweeted something in our chat today that Maurice hasn't decided on the lines yet. So check the line rushes here. That's going to be important. I don't know if it's just the bottom 6 that would change or what, because they were riding that top line pretty hard there for the Jets the other game, or their last game. I think they got the highest share on the slate, 35% at 5-on-5, which to me, that we haven't seen those numbers in a long time, not since like Colorado won. Old days when they were getting regularly that much ice time at 5-on-5 as a unit. And then on the Winnipeg side of things, I think who is it? Tanev is out and Per Lindholm draws in. So check line rushes on that one. On the other one, McKinnon and Landeskog back together last game. Do we have them that way? Probably. Yeah, Landeskog, McKinnon, Foot. So if you're going to go Colorado, I'd consider going to that line. That's all I got. I'm wondering how long it'll be until Bufflin's back on the power play here, but that could be something if you want to get in one game early as opposed to one game late. That could be an interesting way to go, but Bufflin hasn't done much since he's been back.
Yeah, it's worrisome for me on the Winnipeg side that they haven't decided their lines tonight because this game matters. So I think you're pretty safe in playing Scheifele, Wheeler, Connor. I don't know what, if like worst case scenario is probably Ehlers ends up on that line or Line, which I'm kind of sick of Line, and he'll probably get a hat trick. But Colorado still does take a lot of penalties, so a power play as good as Winnipeg's with Bufflin potentially back on the top unit could pay big dividends. So I like the idea of getting to a few Winnipeg 1 shares here. I think Colorado 1 is my favorite play here, though. It's kind of hard to argue there. If this game's close at all, and you saw it last game, McKinnon's going to get a ton of ice time with Landeskog. They're starting the game that way. They're going to finish the game that way. And Kerfoot super cheap, and power play correlation. Winnipeg, like I've mentioned the last few times, a pretty good target, I think, especially when they're on the road. So, I like kind of both sides here, but definitely a strong lean towards Colorado 1.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. Winnipeg, bad home road splits, 2.8 implied goals for, so I'm just not going to have much of them tonight, especially with Grubauer kind of finding a bit of a heater here.
He's been
So
incredible.
yeah, and like that's the goalie they traded for. Like he could be an X factor in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like Colorado 1 here. They're so expensive, I think that, or expensive enough to keep people off them, and like people see that Winnipeg matchup and probably won't have much. So I don't know how much ownership they're going to get. But I'm guessing like Kerfoot will be, left off if people do roster that line. So
He will be,
I'm gonna have
which
some
is
of them.
yeah, he will be, which is crazy. Like,
Yeah,
why are you leaving off a guy who's fully correlated at?
that's the guy you want.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's to me where the advantage comes in on rostering that line, and then that's the only thing I'm really going to in this game other than Barry.
Yep, Barry 6,400, still in play for me. Just shooting
Yeah.
at a great rate and playing on the top power play
Not
with
going
Landeskog.
buck a wild. Like I'm still gonna have more Burns, but gonna have some Barry shares.
Yeah, Barry's going to be a fourth of Burns' ownership. So there you go. Let's move it on. Speaking of Burns, San Jose Sharks against the Edmonton Oilers. 3.4 implied total for the Sharks. 3.2 for the Oilers. Looks like it could be a shootout here. Aaron Dell against Anthony Stolarz. Another reason there could be a shootout. Terrible Sharks goaltending versus Anthony Stolarz, and then a lot of talent.
Stolarz, he have the highest high danger save percentage in the NHL this season.
Really?
Yeah,
sure he got
it's
a
a
lot
pretty
of
small
practice.
sample, but yeah, really high total here. I like San Jose 1, Edmonton 1. Keep an eye on the line rushes. They shuffled last game. McDavid played with like Cave and Ratty and somebody else. Like it was just it was really weird. I think it was more that they were double shifting him than shifting lines in game, but he did not get a ton of ice time with that top unit. Not like what we've seen in the past, where like that trio of Draisaitl and Cassian has had like a 30+% share at 5-on-5. So something to keep an eye on. I don't know what to do with this one, honestly. I kind of like Edmonton, but they're expensive and they're shuffling. Kind of like San Jose, but they have not been kind to us recently. Yeah, what's your take?
Really love San Jose 1 here, and then I really like Edmonton 1. So that's a little bit concerning that they were shuffling around. I'm trying to see the numbers here and see how much Edmonton 1 actually played together. So they led the team.
I think it was 19% or something.
So they had almost 9 minutes together. Cassian is super cheap, so 3K. I mean, if he doesn't get a point, he's not gonna kill you. If Draisaitl and McDavid do what you need them to do, man, they were really bad last game. Wow,
Yeah.
10 scoring chances against in 9 minutes, 4 high danger chances. Shot attempts were about even, but wow, they were really bad. So Cassian actually stuck with McDavid. So McDavid, Cassian, and Ratty played 5-19 together.
But then didn't he also have McDavid have another?
He had another 349 with Josh Curry. I'm sorry. It wasn't Curry. What am I looking at here? No, that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
Cassian and Ratty. That's gross.
They're just their lines are so gross.
What a disservice. Yeah, they did do some shuffling last game for sure, though.
Yeah. I don't know what McDavid's ownership is going to be like. I think he's a fine play with that total against the Sharks, who, haven't been great giving up chances this year. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Just bad goaltending on both sides. This is the game that I really think could shoot out a lot. And if Edmonton can even put up like 3 or 4 goals here, you can bet that McDavid's going to have a huge performance. And then on the other side, Couture and Meyer and Pavelski very much ahead of San Jose 2 here, even price included. Like, I think that line's just better. Not really worried about it defensively, so that's why I do like McDavid. I think he's going to see time against all of the top 6 for San Jose. So pretty excited about that. Going to probably watch this game and hopefully make some money on it on both sides. Clefbaum as well. Burns, of course, a value for 6,800 in Osmos grades. I think I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So all the Burns, once again. Well, most of the Burns tonight.
We're just opening ourselves up to ridicule at this point.
That's all right. they'll forget in 6 months.
Good. I like it. Yeah, I'm going back to the well. I mean, like, only got 2 games left to deal with this, so might as well just pot committed at this point.
He's still, I mean, he's attempting the shots.
6 shots last game.
Yeah, when the shots, I'm sure he had like over 10 attempts as well.
Yeah.
He's not going to find the net on all of his shot attempts, but you can bet he's going to.
It's one of those guys that's like, you got a good hard contact rate, but the BABIP is low, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Pretty good comparison there. Let's actually see what he had. Actually, I'll do that while we're introducing the next game. Last game on the slate, Arizona and Vegas. 2.3 implied total for the Coyotes. 3.1 for the Golden Knights. Coyotes barely hanging on to wild card hope here. They would have to win out. Colorado would have to lose out. Kemper, Fleury in net. Any changes here?
So just that Stastny is still listed as a day-to-day on the line sites, even though I think everyone is expecting him to go. I think Arizona is pretty much all the same. Everything the same. Just Marc-Andre Fleury in net for the Knights coming back from injury, so a bit of a interesting spot for him there. I don't know. Wasn't getting to a lot of this game. Curious as to your thoughts again. Like, if you can talk me into one of these lines. I generally don't target Arizona. Vegas doesn't have anything to play for as well. So
just Vegas too, just because they've been so good at 5-on-5 that that's what you need here. Anything you get on the power play against Arizona is just extra. So I think they can get it done at 5-on-5 against Dvorak or Richardson or Stepan for that matter. Like, I just don't think there's a bad matchup for them at all at 5-on-5. So just hoping they can do some damage there. I mean, they've done damage against everyone they've played against, basically. And they're lower priced than Vegas won and some other lines that I have projected similar to them. So Vegas 2 and Shea Theodore, who correlates to them on the power play. So there's your 4-man stack for Vegas. He'll play some with them at 5-on-5 as well. Again, you're not really banking on a bunch of power play production here against Arizona, but anything you get is extra. And I like Theodore's price at $5K.
Totally in on that. There's a lot of different ways you can go in that price range. So he's one of those options, I think, for sure. Pulak and Subban at 5,100 also intriguing. But I'm okay with I'm okay with him too.
Yeah, that's really all I got here. That's really all I got on the slate. I'm just playing kind of my favorite lines, but the lines that have great numbers, and they seem to all be in good spots tonight. So I wish I had 150 to play with. I don't quite have 150 because DK won't let me. But it's going to be a good night. One of these lines is going to go nuts. So hoping I
like it. I like it. Yeah, combo. I think it's going to be like kind of a crazy night tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty high scoring. So you'll see me at the top. Hopefully, you'll see Nolan at the top. See some the viewers at the top. And I'll be back tomorrow for the short slate. Striker's birthday tomorrow, so in case I forget to shout him out, there you go, Striker. Good luck tonight, guys. We will see you next season, assuming nothing changes.
Thank you all for watching.
It's
been awesome. I've really enjoyed it. It's been great just talking through these games and spending this like hours and watching you and Homer Cleese as well has just made me such a much better player this year. So hopefully we can take it to another level next season as well.
Yeah, I think we will. I think the show is a success. So glad to have you on here for the duration of the season and looking forward to next year. Seth even says, great job. I will miss trolling you. Wow, look at that. Broke character even for a few seconds. All right, guys. Good luck. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back next season, of course, or maybe a playoff stream, possibly a surprise one. We'll see, though. Good luck, guys.